first of all, I would like to pay my highest homage to the Triple Gem, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha with my highest respect. And I would like to pay my respect to the most venerable Atimani Mangsang, the president of the CBMS, the Cambodian Buddhist Monk Society, and also my respect to all venerable monks who happen to watch this show, and especially the most two venerable speakers on this auspicious occasions on the Visakha Day. So here we have the most venerable Dr. Yan Seng Yet and venerable Secretary Sam Chanti. I would like to begin with this talk show by informing our viewers or listeners who might be watching these shows that we are doing this version of English in the purpose of sharing the knowledge of the Visakha celebration to the public, to the non-speakers. So please forgive us if we committed any mistakes in terms of English usage. So we just trying to do our part to share the teaching of the Buddha. So now I wanted to start by informing to the viewer that today we have two speakers, Venerable Dr. Yan Seng Yet and Venerable Sam Chanti, to be part of this speech, to share the teaching and most importantly, the events that happened during this Visakha celebration. So I wanted to start with Venerable Dr. Yan Seng Yet on this auspicious occasion. We all know that Visakha celebration is a UN's day, and as well as the celebration of all of the Buddhist countries in the world. So I would like you to tell us briefly, so what is Visakha Day in a Buddhist ceremony? So could you please help us to deliver a brief meaning of Visakha celebration in Buddhism? So please, thank you.
My deep respect to the Noble Triple Gem, to Venerable President, to all Venerable monks, especially to the Venerable Moderator who has given me this opportunity to share my understanding and little knowledge of on how the celebration of Visakha is carrying out in the Buddhist community. Visakha celebration is one of the biggest celebrations in Buddhist world, and this celebration is dedicated to three events which happening in the Buddha's life. One is it celebrate the day that he was born into this world, and the second one, the day that the Buddha got the enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, and the third one is the Mahaparinibbana, the demise of the Buddha. So this is the essence of the celebration of Visakha Puja in Buddhist community.
Thank you so much. So I would like to turn this question to Venerable Sam Chanti, but I want you to specifically describe what is Visakha, because mostly people have different pronouns, different terms of using this Visakha. So some countries pronounce it a Visakha Puja, Visakha or Visakha. Or so could you please help us to understand why are so many different names on this Visakha celebration? So please, thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to pay deep respect to the most venerable President, Venerable Dr. Yan Seng Yet, Venerable Moderator, Venerable Secretary, and editors, and all the venerable in the Buddha Sasana. And good evening to everyone also. The term Visakha in originally Pali word, the Pali word Visakha, it represents to the 6 months according to the lunar calendar. So in some texts, especially the text written by the scholar in something interrupt me. written by the most scholar that the new research, they represent, especially for Mahayana Buddhism, they represent to the fourth month of calendar. It is Visakha. Visakha means the month that we count in the calendar, in lunar calendar. And Visakha Puja, it is the celebration represent the full moons of that month. If we compare to the solar calendar, it affected May actually, but this month turned back to April. So it is a little bit different by year to year. So Visakha Puja, it means the celebration regarding to the full moons of Vesak. And it is different by the country by pronunciation. Like in Cambodia, we call Visakha Puja because our pronunciation, our term of Pali word utterance is different from other. Thailand, we call Visakha Puja because they don't have alphabet like J. And Lanka, Sri Lanka, they call Vesak, like because they represent like mixed Europeans and Sri Lankan language together. And some other country they call Vaisakha. It is represent to their pronunciation only. Thank you.
Thank you. So significantly, Visakha is the month in the lunar calendar, which is happen on the full moon of the sixth month of basically is the name of the month, and this so because of the events of the Buddha, which is the birth, the enlightenment, and the Mahaparinibbana, or in Sanskrit we pronounce it as Nibbana. So I'm going to ask you, both of you, to describe each of these three events. So because it is quite significant, and it's very important for all Buddhist practitioners or Buddhist followers to understand on these three events. So I would like to turn the question to Venerable Dr. Yon Seng Yet on the birth of the Buddha. So what is so significant about the birth of the Buddha? How can Buddhist followers understand the event of the birth of the Buddha and learn something from this event of the Buddha? So could you please help us to describe a little bit, and then I will be exchanging with Venerable Samyanti so we can share different views, because I know there is a lot of understanding regarding to this event. So could you please, Venerable Dr. Samyanti, share with us your perspective? Thank you.
The noble birth of the Sakyamuni Buddha signify the arrival of the expression of the thought. We have to accept that the Buddha was not the first religious founder who came into this world, but he was one of the, I think in those days, in the 6th century BC, Buddha was the first religious founder who recognized the value of the expression of the thought in the Buddhism, which is known as in modern Indian subcontinent. And his birth has given a full freedom to the human world by accepting, recognizing that all beings are equal. So there is the colors, the race, the families are not the basic qualification that human being has to be different or put into different categories. So the teaching. Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes. Please keep going. Yeah.
Because there is something is going on in Cambodia now.
Yes,
the electricity is just on and off, and if something wrong with me and I'm disappear from the screen, please carry on.
Yes, thank you. Yes, please. Yeah.
And he was the first religious founder who asked his followers who asked his followers to have a dialogue with me in order to accept his teaching. Just in one case, when he taught Venerable Sariputra and he asked Venerable Sariputra, do you agree with what I say? And then Venerable Sariputra say, no, Lord, I have to think it over again and again. And then the Buddha say, Sariputra is a great disciple because he did not accept what I said instantly without considering. So this is the first sign of the teachings that he carry on in his life. So his birth signified the importance of the value of the freedom expression. And when we start to practice Buddhism deeply, we can see that we have more freedom because the Buddha is not the external beings or divine or a God or at all. He is human beings. So by the human capacity, he teaches the world with all the qualities, which all the mind capacity had been found in each and every human beings. So this is what we have practiced and we learn in Buddhism. So his birth signified the importance of the day that human being can express fully from what he had in mind and souls and heart. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, so I would like to get different dimensions of this, of the Buddha's birth views on this event. So I would like to turn the question to Venerable Samyanti. Sorry. So why is the birth of the Buddha is so significant for Buddhist followers and for in general for human beings? And at the same time, we all know that the Buddha was born as a prince in the royal family, and because many of us as a human being, we are struggling, we are striving for a better life, a better position, a better rank in humanity. But the Buddha was born as a prince, and why did he, basically why did he abandon his palace and his luxurious life to seek for a struggling life to attain the enlightenment? So could you please help us get some different views on this? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The day that the Buddha born, the presence of the Buddha is like opening the new era, the new calendar for universal, for the for universal beings. So, as you know, even though we are born in such a normal family, so if we know that our family, our relative have pregnancy, so we are waiting to kid or to fetus to be born. We are waiting with somebody said that I can wait to see my beautiful cousin, beautiful son, beautiful daughter, or something. It is just only the simple one. But the presence of the Buddha or Siddhartha, so it is waiting for long period. As you study on the Buddha's biography, before Buddha come to the world, to the womb of his mother, so the uncountable eons of Deva, Brahma, and human being discussing and waiting about the presence of Buddha. The Buddha will come one day. So, and then the day of the Buddha, of the Siddhartha princess born, many uncountable cycles of the world of Devas and Brahma come together and respect the princess. So this is their joy. And they know exactly that the bonds of princess will bring the happiness to everyone. That's why they named Siddhartha or Siddhartha to bring joy and happy to others. And because of his born, his present, represent to others successful, to change the world, change the caste system in India, or change to the wrong views of living beings. He changed everything at in the presence of his his in the world. So especially there are 32 miracle events happening the day that he was born. But to the question that you add, why he born as a princess in a luxurious palace and he left palace searching moksha, searching the liberation. In Pariyesana Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya, Buddha himself discussed why I abandoned the palace. Because there are two searching, wrong searching and right searching. If someone think that I am usually faced with old age, with decay, with death, with separation, with suffer. So why I find something that add more suffer to me? This is wrong finding, wrong searching. So the Buddha search in the right way. I am usually affected by old age, by decay, by death, or by many suffering, lamentation. So I need to abandon all of these things and search what is happiness, what is free from all suffering. So that's why the Princess Siddhartha left the palace searching the truth. When he found truth, he come back to palace and give this joy, the real joy. When he born, it's just only the representations of joy of all living beings. Just only fake joy. We can say fake joy, but it's not fake, but it's just only representative joy to all living beings. But when the Buddha enlightened, he bring the real joy, real happiness to his family and world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So yeah, the first part we get some sense of the birth of the Buddha. So, but as we all know that we have a lot of descriptions, a lot of things in the sutras that can describe the birth of the Buddha, but we cannot go all into the details. So I will be leaving it there. For those who are interested in searching more knowledge on this, they can go to on the Tipitaka or some other documentaries that related to the Buddhas. And so now let me turn into the enlightenment event. So when Dr. Jan Singh Yet, I would like to turn this into you to you to ask on, because as Venerable Samyanti has mentioned, that because it is not the real happiness in the palace, that's why the Buddhas left and searching for the real happiness. So then he get enlightenment. So my question to you is that, Dr. Jan Singh Yet, is what Dhamma did the Buddha get enlightenment? So could you please briefly share with us? And this question will be also asked to Venerable Samyanti too. So could you please, Dr. Jan Singh Yet, please? Thank you.
The Dharma, or the teaching that he had found on the day that he got enlightenment, was the Four Noble Truths, which is the formula to understand the sufferings and the cessation of the sufferings, the marga, the path, and the liberation of the suffering. So these are the main teachings of the Buddha, because inside this teaching we don't see anything which is relevant to the external beings, the invisible beings, or whatever it is. It is all lies in the heart, in the mind, in the life of the human beings. So this was the first teaching which had been taught by the religious founder in the 6th century BC to work toward their own liberation by themselves, not with the help of the divinity, but with the help of their own, with the effort of of themselves. So this is the teaching. Basically, we call it the Four Noble Truths: Dukkha, Samudaya, Nirodha, and Marga. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So yes, I would like to turn the question to Venerable Samyanti. You know, when we're talking about the Four Noble Truths, as Venerable Dr. Yanti has mentioned, the suffering. So suffering has been there before the Buddha was get get enlightenment. So why is the Buddha's finding is so significant than any other's finding? Because you know we all as human beings has experienced suffering before the Buddha got enlightenment. So can you give us a sense of differences of the Buddha's teaching and with the suffering, the notion of suffering that others have in the ideas of the suffering? So could you please share with us?
Thank you. Actually, Venerable Doctor have mentioned or has mentioned already about the Dhamma that the Buddha enlightened. I can merge that enlightened Dhamma. It means the Buddha found at the roots of Bodhi tree. It related the Four Noble Truths with the cycles of Parijjasamuppada. It means the cause and effect theory. So the Buddha find cause and effect. So regarding to suffering, Buddha just only reconflict again and again, back and forth through the Parijjasamuppada, Avijja, Sankhara, Sankhara, Paccaya, Vijnana, etc. Through this recollection, he found the truth. Regarding to this suffering, he not find anything, but he just accepted, he just realized it is true. He just notified that it is true. Nobody can change because we suffer a lot because of birth, because of decay, because of old age, because of death or something. We suffer a lot. Why we suffer? Can we change that suffer? We cannot change that suffer, but we accept that offer and we limit. We don't want to affect anymore with this suffer. So for suffering is not to abandon, it's not to cultivate, it's not to observe, but you have to notify, you have to understand. You have to understand that this is suffering. The Buddha said, oh, now I understand the Dhamma that before I have never known, I have never clear. Before that, this is suffering. So this suffering is the truth. Nobody can change this suffering, but we can cut it by practicing, by understanding, and by abandoning the cause of that suffering. So to realize the suffering, it means just to notify, to understand it. It is real, not suffer because of suffer thing. The thing, it is already suffer. Why we suffer more? Example, with separation from our beloved one. It is the real of suffering, and why we more suffer about that. We suffer more about that. So we just understand the reality is just only the continuous of causation. If you have birth, you have suffer. If you have, because of birth, you have suffer, and because of existence, you have birth, and because of grasping, you have existence. Because of tanha or craving, you have grasping. Because of feeling, you have tanha or craving, etc. So when we reflect on these cycles of the Parijjasamuppada, we will understand the truth, understand the suffering. It is real and truth. Nobody can change, but we have more practice to abandon the cause of that suffering. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So yeah, of course, it is a lot of details in this event, the Buddha enlightenment, but we cannot go through all. I hope that the people who are watching this get a sense of the meaning of enlightenment, which is the solutions that can help us to overcome the sufferings. And the Buddha found it. That's why he's enlightened and share with his followers and the world. So now I would like to go into the third event, which is the Mahaparinibbana. Whenever Dr. Yan Singh, the Buddha's got enlightenment. He consider, we consider him as a, not just we, but the people in the town consider him as a superior being. And because he can decided not to go away, he can decide to go away or just remain until today. But I would like to ask you on that meaning. But first, I would like to start with the terms of Nivarana or Nibbana, which is the Pali and Sanskrit. So first, could you please tell us what is the meaning of those terms, and then why the Buddha decided to leave the world after he got enlightenment, which is he can decided not to leave. So can you share with us a sense of his decision on departed from this world? But first, I would like to know the terms Nibbana or Nirvana. What does it mean? Can you please share? Thank you. Can you?
Whatever, sir, I cannot hear you clearly, so I cannot catch up with the question. Please pass this question to whatever Simon Teacher.
Yes, Simon Teacher. Whatever Simon, please.
Okay.
Can you share with us the terms? Yeah, the terms of the Nibbana or Nirvana.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, the term Nibbana or Nirvana, it is the Pali word or Sanskrit word. It came from the root Ni and Vana. Ni, it means to get away, and Vana is the kinds of grass. The meaning of Vana is grass. Yeah, like Kusa grass, the grass that the Buddha take from Brahmin before he enlightenment. But Nirvana means to get away of all the disturbances. What are the disturbances? Disturbances from hatred, from greed, from delusion. So Nibbana means to cease of all these disturbances, defilement. Yeah, defilements. So the term Nibbana is the freedom or free from all lobha. It means greed or dosa, hatred, and moha, delusion that disturb us. Because when you have disturbances, you cannot feel happily. The Buddha in Chola Tundila Chataka mentioned that Papa or this kind of disturbances compared to the sweat, sweat, right? The sweat that when we walking under the sun and or we work hard and then we sweat. So yeah. when we sweat, we cannot sit happily, we cannot sleep happily, we cannot communicate happily, right? It is like disturbed. So you have to bathe, and you have to bathe, and then you apply lotion to your body. Then you feel relaxed, you feel happy, and you feel joyful and love yourself very much. So in Buddhism, Buddha said that Dhammo Rahato Agattamo. So the Dhamma or Nirvana is like a very, very good pond, that clear water, no mud in the pond, and we can go in and bathe. And the disturbances, lobha, dosa, and moha is like a sweat. So we have to remove all the sweat, and we have to apply the lotion. And what are the lotion? Silang vile padang setang. So morality, the practice, is the good lotion for all living beings. So absence of these disturbances is called nirvana. It is the term nirvana. And you ask another question related to the why the Buddha decided to live, why he didn't want to stay with us. Many people misunderstood of this term. The term that Mara come or evil doer come to approach to the Buddha and ask him to attain nirvana, and the Buddha said to Ananda, if somebody who are qualified with Itipada or for foundations of successful want to stay, he can stay as the world age or more than that, something like that. But don't misunderstand that. That means if the Buddha want to stay, he stay maximal 120 years only, not until today, because he said the kappa ayu. Kappa ayu means the age of the lifespan, a lifespan, because at that time, at the Buddha's time, lifespan is 100 years, the lifespan. So it is can more than that lifespan, only 20 years or 40 years maximum. And now the lifespan is just only 74 and a half. In America, the lifespan of American people is 80 and 81. The lifespan of Japanese people is 76. The lifespan of Cambodian is 65, between 65 and 70. And lifespan of other country in other people in Africa country, at some country is only 45. So it is lifespan because according to the scientific research, so they do a research like that. So we call lifespan. So if the Buddha want to stay until the lifespan or more than lifespan, only 100 or more than 100 years. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Because, you know, when we talk in our language or in some other language, they also mention about it that Buddhas could be here as long as he wish, if it is no Mara or
Yeah.
or anything that that force him to. But so the fact is that we have a wrong understanding on this. So thank you for clearing. And what about Dr. Yansing? I would like you to share some view on the last event. So what do you make of Nibbana? Why is it so significant to all of us as a Buddhist followers? Because Buddha can do some kind of superior things, but why he decided to leave the world? So what is your perspective on this? Can you share with us? Thank you.
The Buddha was very old. One day he told Venerable Ananda, he said, my body is like a very old cow's ox. It's very old. He said, I'm very old. This is very clearly that the Buddha sent a message to the followers that he's old physically, very old. That is the nature of the human beings, because he clearly said that anything is arising is subject to the falling, born and death. Without birth, there is no death. So this is the reality. And what I am interested in the demise, the Mahaparinibbana of the Buddha, was even though just before last minute of his final goodbye to the world, he asked the monk not to be heedfulness, not to be heedful. One has to work very hard for the liberation. Not only liberation, I think for all walks of life. Either we are lay people or monks, one have to perform the duties as much as possible righteously. So this is the clear message that the Buddha, from the beginning of the first day of his enlightenment, until the last minute of his departure, he was thinking of how to help the world. Just we say just a few minutes before he say goodbye, he asked, is there anyone want to ask any question, because it's time for me to go, and if you have any question, please ask. And he also say, one should not be head full, meaning that one have to be mindful. That's why in Mahaparinibbana we can see the teaching of the Satipatthana, the mindfulness, the four foundation of the practice, which is very popular practice in the West, not in the East anymore. I feel very sorry to see this thing happen in our Eastern world, that we have been practicing Buddhism for thousands of years, but the practice of Satipatthana and the meditation seems is on the decline these days, not only in Cambodia, in many countries, in the East, not in the West. I still recall the site that I see while I was at Harvard University. There were around 30 meditation centers located around the university, which is very amazing to see that the non-Buddhist country practice meditation, even though much better than the Buddhist country in the East. So the Mahaparinibbana Sutta of the Buddha, we can learn from his death. And sometimes it is funny to see the human beings really want the Buddha to live the forever. It's impossible. That's not true, because he said that when after my departure, my demise, my teachings, my vinaya, my dharma is your master. So this is very clearly teaching where what they say, the final say of the Buddha: practice my teaching. That is what the great respect that you can give to me. So this is the thing that we can learn from each other. We can learn from the demise of the Buddha. And we as a Buddhist must understand we are not going against the law of the nature, but we try to live, to sail through the law of nature. We were born, we are living our life, and we have to accept that there is ahead of us. So this is the basic teaching of the Buddha. Live according to the nature. Live according to the law of the nature. Thank you.
Thank you so much. For sharing with us. The reason I asked about the departed of the Buddha, because many of us, when we get old, we complain, and many rich people, many people who have ability to boost up their body, I mean, they kind of trying to get some surgery or using that medical science to keep them young, look younger. But the fact is that we are all going to get deteriorated in our body. We are getting old as its nature. So to remind us all. So I would like to summarize this by allowing you both to share with us what should we remember. What should be Visakha Day remembrance be remembered by his followers and the people. So I shortly, the 1 or 2 minutes, please, each of you. One more second first, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the last chance to talk. As Venerable Dr. Jansen, I just want to add to your and to say that mindfulness is no more in the Eastern world. You know how many sutta that the Buddha delivered in the northern India? Just only few. Satipatthana Sutta and Arattapala Sutra. So only few suttas. So it's just only joke. Mindfulness is for northern people, it's not Eastern people. So it is just only short. For the reminding to Visakha, as the final words of the Buddhas, we have to work out our deliverance with earnestness. It means we have to learn hard, we have to practice, and we have to share our knowledge to others in order to work together to make progress. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, Dr. Young, what is your last word on this Visakha Day? Thank you.
Visakha celebration should be the source of the practice of Sila, Samadhi, and Prajna. Sila is very important for the society to exist because it's a basic principle, and Samadhi is a teaching which can help us to cultivate, to purify our mind. And the wisdom, the Prajna, is the source of leading our life to happiness. So Visakha should be the source of inspiration and aspiration for all the people, not only for Buddhists. I quote the statement of the former General Secretary of UN. He said that the teaching of the Buddha, the teaching of the Buddha allow us to embrace each other with love and compassion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for both venerables for sharing your essential knowledge on this event. And I hope that this program, this talk show for English, would be benefited for all of the people who might not be understand our language, but of course, this short period of time is not enough to describe the whole event because we have a lot of teachings within this event. So I hope that all understand, and please forgive me for any mistakes for both of three of us, because we are not perfect, we are imperfect, and we are trying to make we are trying to do it better. So please forgive us. And this I would like to yield back, and thank you for watching. And may all sentient beings be free from suffering. And once again, thank you for both venerables, and thank you for the venerable president for still being with us here. And I would like to yield back and turn this program to Venerable Nansadat, please. Thank you.